5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What is the Matrix?
Start me from the top, man.
Maybe it's the weed got me. Maybe it's these trees got me. Maybe it's these hoes got me. Maybe it's the stroll that got me. Maybe it's these clothes got me. Maybe it's these laws got me. Maybe it's my dogs got me. Maybe it's these bras got me. Maybe it's this man that got me. Maybe it's my clan that got me. Maybe it's my fam that got me. My plans, my plans. The Matrix, Matrix.
When I wake up in the morning, I wake up in the morning, putting my read in my Bible paper. Laws, I can see them later. Middle finger up, always screaming, fuck a hater. Chewing on them suckers like annihilator. No hip hop, this ain't rock and roll. This is real music, pop lock your soul. James Brown, Godfather, come on, Machiavelli, Christopher Wallace, Huey Newton, Huey P, you know who I be. The spirit, it's what is the Matrix? It's the Matrix. What is the Matrix? It's what is the Matrix? What is the Matrix? Peace and love. I am the master, the God, Jason Elm Street Williams, and you are tuned into What is the Matrix TV. Yeah, so I know I've been gone for a while, but for those who are not tuned in to the frequency and you're tuned in for the first time, What is the Matrix has solutions. So we're gonna talk about politics, religion, spirituality, ancient aliens. We're gonna talk about world history, human history, black history, Moorish history, and all the crazy hot topics throughout the world. We have callers calling in live. We're gonna have live skits. Sponsors, hit us up. If you'd like to be a special guest on the Internet TV podcast, hit me up. Once again, Jason Elm Street Williams, the God, the master of the universe. Peace and love. Let's get it going. But when I've been traveling through outer space, I met a little friend of mine, man. What's up, Gooby?
So you're God, huh?
Oh, man. What's good with you, bruh?
Well, I'm pissed.
What are you pissed about, brother?
That you're God all this time? It's been you?
Oh, man. God's just a word, man. There's really no such thing as God, right?
Woo! Let's praise God for that one.
Oh, man. Can we get an applause? Or what are we doing here, man?
But I'm glad you picked me up on the spaceship. It's good to see you again. I haven't seen you since that last party we had at Darth Vader's house.
Oh, man. That was a fun time, man.
All the black pussy you want.
So, yeah, man. So what's been going on planet Earth, man? Traveling in outer space. You've been coming down and chilling with us, man?
Well, I've been watching you people on Earth, and I got to tell you, you're fucked.
Oh, man. How are we fucked?
Well, I look at your environment, the people, but most of all, your fucking president!
Oh, man. So, yeah, where's the sound effects? We need them sound effects going live in effect. So every week, we're going to be tuning in, talking that crazy stuff. You're going to see my brother Gooby here. We're going to be playing a lot of different things, playing with your conscious mind. Tune in, call in, once again. So let's get it going, man. Let me get some pictures in the background. We're talking about Donald Trump and Kanye West, right?
I saw that on Intergalactic News. Is that nigga going crazy?
Nah, man. You know, personally, I think that the brother is actually kicking some knowledge, man, to be honest with you.
Well, with you saying it doesn't mean that goddamn much.
I'm actually...
Too stupid, motherfucker.
I'm actually... To tell you the truth, it's really a debate, and it's crazy that we got to bring up the brother, but I guess he got what he wanted, which is great, you know, but I'm not the one to knock down any brother, you know. I'm going to try to take the positive of what he's saying. You know, one thing that I did like is that we need education reform. You know, clearly we have a problem in this country with education. You know, when we talk about the prisons, the jail cells being filled, the homelessness, people in psychiatric wards, people on mental medication, the drugs, alcohol.
What kind of drugs?
I mean, alcohol's a drug, the yayo, the cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, pharmaceutical drugs that are now legal. You know, and that's one of the great things that we talk about, the medical cannabis industry.
I think we should throw all those drugs away. Let's start with the ones in your trunk of your car.
Not mine, so.
No?
Not mine, not mine. What are you talking about, guy?
Just fucking with you, man.
Man. So, yeah. So, what's going on today, man? What's going on with you with the politics?
I actually came here because I came from the planet Goobula. I brought you something. I brought you some weed from my planet. Check this out. Here you go. I want you to smoke that.
Is this what you have rolled up?
Mostly we don't really smoke it. We stick it in our booty and just squeeze it together.
That's crazy, man.
Most of that sack was in my ass, so enjoy.
Crazy guy right here. So we're about to go into a little skit with Richard Pryor. You know, we're going to have fun. You're going to see us smoking medical cannabis. We're in the state, the beautiful golden state of sunny California, where it is legal. You know, Riverside County Medical Supply. Come check us out. But we'll talk about that later. We're going to get into some politics, some live callers.
You can go to jail for weed here on Earth?
Oh, man. Plants are illegal. And that's one of the topics that we're going to discuss, that we're actually living in a society where plants that naturally grow on the planet before any laws were created are illegal. And we could talk about the war on drugs later. We're going to pop up some pictures.
So you're saying a plant that comes out of the ground, you can go to jail for?
Yeah, definitely, most definitely. Unfortunately.
Who are these fucking people that made these laws?
Well, that's what we're going to talk about in What is the Matrix. You know, it's Halloween season, right?
Well, God damn it, let's do it. Gooby's ready.
All right, man. So you guys tune in, man. We're going to talk about Halloween. We're going to talk about the origins of Halloween. Gooby's going to be popping up. I have some guests, Pastor Pimp. Heard Lucifer's going to stop by. And we're going to be having more live special guests. It's going to be crazy. If you want to call us, the number is 866-831-5737. Once again.
Call. Don't be hating.
866-831-5737. We're about to get live. We're about to have some fun this season. So we're going to talk about Donald Trump and Kanye. We're going to talk about that China and the artificial moon. You know, is the moon that we see an actual hologram? Is it artificial? Because if they can put a so-called artificial moon in the sky, what's not to say what the ancients were talking about celestial bodies and celestial beings in the sky?
I can tell you right now, I'm from outer space. You humans are full of shit.
How are we full of shit?
You ain't been to the moon.
Wait a second.
You ain't had no.
Wait a second.
You're saying that
we didn't go to the moon? You're saying that we didn't go to the moon?
You don't have the technology to go to the moon. Gooby knows this.
Well, we have cell phones, Gooby. Where did they come from? Was it Steve Jobs? Where did he get that information from?
Did this goddamn Earth nigger say cell phones?
Yeah, cellular phones.
What, you gonna ride your cell phone to the moon? Shut the fuck up.
Well, how would they get there? So you're telling me that the United States government faked the moon landing?
Yes!
Wow, we might have to study that. Why would the government lie about the moon landing?
Well, most of you guys are bitches anyway, and you hate to look bad. So, Russia had, I guess, their spaceship, first? Was it Sputnik? Yes, yeah. Sputnik had their shit first.
Okay.
And then you little bitch-ass Americans came up in there and tried to do your little thing, and the rocket didn't make it. You got 5 niggas floating in space.
So what about the flat Earth theory? Do you feel that we're living on a globe, or are we living on a flat Earth?
Professor! I got it open!
Interesting, interesting. So, if everything is Photoshop, what are we seeing when the astronauts take pictures in outer space? Do you feel that they're actually even going to outer space? Because if the sun is beaming down on this planet, why is it that when they go to outer space, it's dark? I find that it's very interesting.
That's a very good point. What it is, it's all fake, because if you actually went out to outer space, the vivid colors would be absolutely phenomenal. Everything would just blast with colors. What they show you is what they want to show you. How'd you like that weed, by the way?
Oh, man, it's pretty good, brother.
Yeah.
Now, you said... That's right. Medical cannabis. You know, we're living, once again, in a society where mind... How was it? There you go, brother. So, yeah. So, that's that good California tree. Hit us up. It's legal. So, yeah. So, we want our target audience to understand it doesn't matter what color you are, race, religion you are. This show is about answering questions, having fun. We're going to have definitely more special guests. And we're going to bring light to a lot of situations and make fun of a lot of situations. Get away from work. Get away
Man, what was in that shit?
Oh, man, you gave it to me, man. I know it's... Well, that's that California bud, man.
Oh, I'm going to visit Earth all the fucking time.
So, yeah, man. So yeah.
Riverside.
So we're about to get into a skit with a brother, with Richard Pryor, rest in peace. And this is just to show evidence of, once again, that Wakanda, the concept, is a real reality, and that there still is, and that there was advanced black civilizations, and it was hidden. So the whole reason that the Vatican, the whole reason that NASA lies about the flat earth and the globe is really all to erase your memory of self from your past life. And this is why they erase history and they tell their story of who we are. It's time to take back our story. So when I show you guys this clip, is this to give you another idea of who we are and who we were. And once you understand who we are, you'll see that we are more than people who came off of slave ships. We are scientists, we are mathematicians, we are architects, we are artists. We are the gods. And when we say gods, even though we know that that's a European word and our ancestors did not speak that, right now use that word to talk about supreme beings and those of an intellect.
So pretty much on Earth, white people have been fucking up.
Well, the term white is actually a term. So, you know, we'll talk about that. So we're going to get into the Richard Pryor video. Check it out. What is the Matrix?
Professor! I got it open! Good heavens, man! Great Scott, we've discovered the fountain of all knowledge of Egypt in the entire world. Do you realize the importance of this moment, Smedley?
Yes, sir, I do.
Do you see the brilliance, the untold years?
I see it, sir.
Oh,
Sir.
this is medicine. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. You slide.
Look! What is this?
See. Says, cannot. This is the elixir of life, sir.
The elixir of life?
The cure for all diseases. Wait, see here. Wait,
Give it to me.
There's an inscription on the bottom.
Give it to me. Give it.
Open at other end.
Lumix.
This can't be, man.
What?
You know what this is?
What is it, Buna?
It's the book of life! In the beginning, when man arrived on Earth, the black gods did leave their spacecraft, and they walked, and they named the beasts of the sea and the animals of the land.
Heavens.
And man in his blackness did walk the earth, making medicine.
Medicine?
They discovered time. These were all black people got down. Wait a minute. There ain't nothing in here about whitey. This is ours, Jack. Wait till the brothers hear this.
Puna.
I'm gonna get this book out of here, baby. This tells the real tea. Check this out.
Control yourself, don't you see?
What you mean, Jack? Look at this here. Black people started the music and the brain surgery back in the year 3 BC.
Yes, of course, Bruno.
Man, they was getting down. This is it, brother.
Yes,
Everybody gonna know about this. Listen, we can change the history. Civilization will be changed.
By all means.
Yeah, this is gonna be it.
Get the bulldozers. There's nothing here.
But.
Shut up. Good heavens, time for tea, eh? What?
Whoa, whoa.
Whoa.
So now I just picked up my brother Cosmo, man.
What's up, man? I heard you was flying by my planet. I had to come see what you was up to.
Oh, man, you know, we over here talking that crazy stuff, man.
What's been going on Earth, man? Kick the knowledge. What's been going down?
Oh, man, there's a lot of stuff going on. For right now, as far as melanated, Moorish, God-body people go, people kissed by the sun, it's a lot of damage that's been happening to our people, man, to keep it real. You know, our people are miseducated. We're misguided. There's a lot of things going on as far as politics, distracting our people. The education system is teaching kids a false representation of who they are as young black kids, which trickles down to the rest of the world.
So you telling me all this time on Earth, since slavery, Jim Crow, all that, y'all still ain't got the white man off y'all's back?
Well, clearly not. You know, for me, what is the Matrix TV? Come and be a host or call in 831-566. Well, check it out on the bottom screen and tune in. But
people are dumb.
But long story short, yeah, we're prisoners of war. You know, as far as I go, we just have to admit it. You know, we've been a conquered people. You know, we're not being told who we are, and the more I study and the more I travel outside of America and study other cultures, I really see the impact of what's happened to our people and what's happened to other cultures. And that's why, you know, we're going to talk about Halloween and all these holidays that start with Halloween, the spirit realm, you know, the so-called unseen, the things like the occult, where religions and all these things come from.
I don't know anything about that, but go ahead.
You know, well,
Keep
you don't
going.
know. Well, in the cult, we'll talk about culture. You know, that's really what it is. Christianity, Judaism is a culture. You know, Jewish people, much love to all people, they have a culture. The way they eat, it's kosher. You know, the way they dress, it's a culture. You know, and black people, we've taken on, the so-called black people, we've taken on an identity that is false, that was given to us by a slave master. And yes, we had to mix it up and survive, but it's a false reality that we need to escape from. And that's what the show is really about.
What do you think is the most false side? What's the first point that you would like to bring to all African Americans about, you know, what do you think is false? What do we need to change?
Well, there's so many things.
Give me one.
Our identity of who we are, our nation. You know, we can argue right now in the black community, it's the atheist movement versus religion. You know, is God real or is God fake? Is the Bible the word of God? And when you say the word of God, are you basically saying the creator of the universe, the sun, the moon, and the stars? You know, and
that's what I assumed it was. That's what they always told me in school, you know?
And for me, I would say that that's false. I would say that that's directly false. You know, the Bible clearly has been taken out of context. The Bible clearly has been translated, mistranslated, and we know that when men or people of power clearly throughout history obtain certain knowledge, sometimes it can get corrupt, not all the time, But so when we study history, we can learn about the Crusades.
I heard something about that. You know what? I was reading this article. They were telling me about the books that are not in the Bible.
Right.
Like, I've never heard the book of Jasher. You ever heard of that?
I didn't even know. Some game.
I didn't even know there was. We have an where's our Bible expert? How many extra books in the Bible are there, Trina? There's 66, but how many more are in there that they say?
How many more?
There are at least 15 to 20 books that I've came to understand that I didn't know that were in the books. There may be more, but the ones that I have heard of. If you're out there listening, look for the book of Jasher. You can find it.
Well, go ahead. What's the number again? 866-831-5737. I'm listening to you, Cosmo.
Yeah, man.
So I would say, as far as the Bible goes, we can speculate, but we know that the Vatican, there you go, tune in.
Now that's what I want to talk about.
Well, let's talk about the Vatican, because the Vatican Church is where we know for a fact they hold millions in ancient archives of books and knowledge that is not privy or privileged to the public.
Damn that. I'm talking about the recent stuff. There are children murdered.
Yeah,
raped.
Definitely.
Everything that you've seen on every horror Jason movie is happening to children.
Oh, definitely. Like, let's read it out loud.
Where's the outrage?
Well, we know that there is going to be no outrage, because the people who are in charge of the laws, the religions, basically damn near everything that we think is true comes up out of those who run the Vatican. Mm-hmm. And so once we study the Vatican, now we really have to study history. Mm-hmm. That's the beauty of education. So Vatican City holds 50 miles of ancient documents hidden from the public. No browsing allowed. Theories surrounding what's contained inside include secret documents about Jesus Christ, alien beings, church involvement in wars and banks, and even child pornography. No one knows exactly what's in there.
Are you serious, brother?
So that's facts. And so we can see movies like Indiana Jones, The Hangar, 51, even on the History Channel, who, as we know, are controlled by Europeans. You know, they're telling you about our stories. And I always find it a coincidence that it's Europeans, it's non-native indigenous people telling our story. Mm-hmm. And I find that interesting that they don't teach this to us in school, or they didn't teach us, and especially in the church. And so that's where we're going to talk about the Vatican. And when we talk about the cult, we learn about magic, rituals. People say that magic's not real, and I hear Christians, Muslims say that it's pagan and they put it down. But when we study these modern day religions, they're doing rituals all the time.
There is rituals in church, huh?
All the time. When they go drink the
Would communion be a ritual?
Yeah. I would say so. If you're a caller, let's put that number down. If you are tuning in live, call us up if you have any questions, want to say anything. 866-831-5737. So what do you think about the SpaceX? And did you feel that was a UFO? Did you feel it was a rocket?
Man, you know what? When it comes to stuff on TV, all I can do is speculate. To be honest with you, anything can be pulled over. Like this train going through space right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's the spacecraft.
Who knew there was a train in space?
Man, the spacecrafts are loud.
Yeah. But so we should pull off from this train bus station, but
let me push this real quick.
Yeah. Pull us off from the train bus station.
Man. So sound effects. But actually we film live. So we film live from a beautiful studio. You love the green screen, hit us up. Every season, every episode is going to get better. If you want to be a special guest, hit us up. So let's get a picture. We were talking about the Vatican. So basically, it brings up the Bible, and basically the entire planet, the majority of the planet, has been hypnotized and indoctrinated through the Bible and church and this God theory.
Who's the one that decides what the Catholic Church does? Is it the Pope?
And well, here we go. This is how we got the Bible. What's it say?
Constantine and his bishops voted a bunch of books as the Word of God in 325 AD. They pick and chose what they want in the Bible, then burn all other pre-Christian document that prove the religion was fictitious.
There you go. Okay, now that's a fact, because like we said, when we study the Crusades, the Spanish Inquisition, and other wars that took place, even modern day wars of today, it ties back to religion. It ties back to ancient artifacts. It ties back to a group of people going around the world, destroying other people's culture, destroying their language, dividing them, and forcing their modern day religion on them. And you can read about it in the good book.
Like them preachers we met, Pastor Pimp and that guy on Earth.
Man. Pastor Pimp's got to come through soon, because we got to talk about it. You know, at the end of the day, we see all of these mega churches. There's a church on every corner in the hood, but the hood still exists. Black people seem to be living in better conditions almost in the 1920s and 1940s, but I feel personally that sports and entertainment allow the world and allow black people to forget the truth of what's going on.
Wow.
If we took away sports, if we took away the NBA, the NFL, arts and entertainment and hip hop, everything that black people contribute, take it away. What is this society?
It would probably collapse on its own through debt.
There you go.
That right now, it probably collapse on itself through debt.
If brothers like LeBron James said tomorrow or on Christmas Day, say, hey, we're not playing anymore. We got a stadium in Africa. We're opening up. If all the NFL players said, you know what, we're going to Africa. We don't even have to go there.
I would do that.
What would happen to America if black people left? No jails. Who's going to fill the jail cells and prisons?
Could you imagine them throwing white people in jail after that to fill the jails? They'd have to make their quota somehow. I think it would be a very good idea, to be honest with you. It's radical. I like it.
Man, because, you know, we're living in a time, you know, our people are suffering. You know, we see people go throughout the world and basically take over ancient people's land. They destroy our documents. And now in the year 2018, we're still dealing with people who believe in the Bible, a book that was given to us during slavery, a jealous God, you know, from ancient times.
I don't think it's all bad.
You know, what, as far as religion goes?
No.
And I agree. I definitely feel that some people do need
it's
religion.
But when you're betrayed by your God and the people you look up to, it causes a rift in people's spirituality. So that's what we're looking. That's what we're facing. We're facing a rift because there was a time. Because if you look at the rules, religion, those aren't bad rules to live by. Okay. They're not. Don't kill, don't steal, don't murder, and all that stuff. They're all basic things. So there is something that's viable in them. But I just think.
But is that the word of God?
No. Well, I just think it's.
So do you need the Bible? So
you know what a rabble rouser is?
No, explain.
A rabble rouser is someone that just likes to shoot out bullshit and noise. Now, in the old days, I mean, people were actually, you know, there's people today in the world that still dress in the same garbs as those people did. They still live the same way. I think it's how people interpret it. You can have a loose fit with God or a tight fit. And I think that there is a supreme being. Yeah. But it's not the interpretation we've gotten.
I agree.
He's an alien.
I agree with that. You know, I definitely
I'm going to leave it at that.
I definitely agree that there are supreme beings with higher intelligence who look similar to us, and also intelligent beings that look different than us, who are amongst us and actually live in different dimensions. I definitely know and agree with that. Eat a magic mushroom and call me in the morning. We could talk about that in the next episode. So, yeah, I definitely agree that there's higher intelligence and that basically modern day religion is hiding things, lying about it. And so it's very dangerous when a group of people are telling people that it's the word of the creator of the universe, when we know that man prints up these books and changes history all the time. And there's pyramids that still exist. And our ancestors have a completely different story than what we've been taught. We got a Pastor Pimp skit for y'all, and we're going to talk about a lot of things. We got about 30 minutes left. Stay tuned. Call in. What is the Matrix TV? I'm Jason Elm Street Williams.
I'm Cosmo the comedian. Come smoke weed with us in space.
Peace and love. Always be the master of your universe and be the God of your universe. You are the one controlling the dream. But unfortunately, we're not given all the proper instructions to be the greatest gods we can be. So it's going to take all of us together to bring up the information that's in all of us to make society better. And that's how we make America and the world better, is to bring up this ancient knowledge that's in us. That melanin, that sun, that vitamin D that allows us to do things that no one else on the planet can do.
You know what? We passed by that black hole. We can pick up Lucifer. You can interview him right now and get this shit straight.
Let's get it, man.
All right.
You guys tune in, and I'm going to show you a little clip from a professor proving and showing you that so-called black people were already in America and we're advancing. We already had a culture. And here's the proof. Where are all the slave ships? They show you dinosaur bones, but they don't show you all these slave ships because it's bullshit. Black people, so-called black people, were already all over the continent, and we were advanced. Check the new story. This is the new story. This is our story. And we're going to create our story again. And we're not going to allow Europeans or anybody else to dictate our story. Peace and love. Check this clip out.
This is something I hadn't got time to go into because it's so long, but it's really interesting. This is a drawing from life that was made, believe it or not, by a so-called American Indian, the southern coast of California. He was a member of the Chumash, no longer exist. When the Spaniards met up with these people, they said, these are civilized Indians. They got along extremely well with them. The reason why they got wiped out, though, was because they had no immunity to the diseases that the Spaniards brought over. And so they were all wiped out. This is the last of them, about the mid of the early 19th century. They were a black people who built fantastic boats. They were like Viking boats, believe it or not. They were lab straked over one plank over the other, so they were very resilient in the water. They had a tradition that they did not originate in America. They came from this great island out across the Pacific. And they lived in a number of islands off of California. One of them was Santa Barbara. You've heard that, Santa Barbara. And they called Santa Barbara Limu. That was their name for it. So this man, probably the last of the one of the last of the Chumash, represents one of these people from Mu, the very early times. These are representations from Ivan Van Sertima's book. You've got one of them here. It's excellent. These are one of the Olmec heads. This is one of the figurines that are found throughout Mexico. What's interesting is that these people are never portrayed as servile or slavish. They're always portrayed as prosperous, as bringing things, bringing metals. Oh, I forgot to mention, too, a grave was found in the Virgin Islands of a skeleton that was dated back to about, not too long ago, to maybe about 1200 A.D., but still centuries before Columbus came here. Definitely had a black skull, negroid skull, and he was buried with an iron tool. Well, according to what we've been told, the people in Virgin Islands had no iron, but the Mali were great iron workers. This is another one of the numerous figurines that were found in a burial urn with gold and so forth. So it's obviously done out of respect. This is from a place called La Venta, Mexico. It's dated to about 200 A.D. This is a beautiful obsidian ware. It was dark, you could see. This is a beautiful black obsidian, which apparently shows a boy bearing, this is not in a servile position, by the way. This is a religious position. This represents the heavens. He's holding up the heaven. There's a Mixtec inscription up here, meaning that this is the sky. So he's not being oppressed or anything. It might look that way, but it isn't. He's holding up the sky. This is dated, well, they haven't got a good date on it because you cannot date obsidian. But they did find some material around it, which may or may relate to its date. This goes back to early Maya time. extreme northern reaches of the Maya civilization. This represents a person of great influence. This is found on the west coast of Mexico. The name escapes me now. The west coast of Mexico. I'm sorry, I forgot the site. He's sitting down. He's squatting down. This is the emblem of kingship. He's bearded. The Mayas did not grow facial hair at all. This is another one. This is a terracotta head from about 2,000 years ago. This is from the Atlantic coast. This is around La Venta also. This is one of the great Olmec heads. And when the archaeologists first saw these, they said, well, they're just typically Indians, you know. And but then they always neglect to say, well, how come the artists who made these always made them out of black battles? You know, if they're Indians, why are they choosing that to work in? And this is part of this helmet, this marvelous helmet, which nobody could understand. There's no other parallel for this helmet found anywhere in the world except West Africa. Plus you have the, and then they said, well, they flattened the features so when they carved them, they could move them around without breaking them. And then it was found that they were carved right where they always were. They were never moved. The artists, to give you an idea how these things, how marvelous they are, they weigh over 11 tons apiece, and they were carried 200 miles. This is before the age of machinery, folks. You know, it's all handmade. Whoever got this, they were carried from the Tlaxcala Mountains, which are 200 miles away, 11 tons. They were set up, and then they were carved. So the archaeologists were proved wrong again. Some have suggested the reason why there's just heads is because, well, there's two theories on that, although one of these theories is getting outdated now. One, that these were sacrificed victims. There was a game that the Aztecs called, was Tlachtli. And in this game, you had to keep this ball in the air all the time. It's a big rubber ball, and the ball represented the sun. And it was played by two different teams. And the team that won, the captain of the team, he had his head cut off. Now, the reason why he did have his head cut off was because he was greatly honored that way in this great victory of getting the ball through the hoop. By having him killed at that moment of victory, it was believed his soul would go straight to heaven. So some people believe that this is a representation of one of those team leaders. It may or may not be, but that doesn't explain the helmet. So they probably are representations more of kings than of sports figures. This is a fanciful representation, but not that fanciful, of what Mu may have looked like from all of the descriptions. It was a very mountainous place. It was very large. More information has come out. There's been a marvelous discovery underwater of something called the Philippine Plate. And it's about the size of Texas. It's under the Pacific, and it was dry land, they figure, about 12,000 years ago, and it's slowly sinking even deeper today in the Central Pacific. It was a mountainous land. Their architecture appears to have been very squarish. This is similar to the Olmec heads. The heads may have been placed up high, not just sitting on the ground. May have been placed on things, these gigantic...
Put the music. Oh, brothers and sisters, we are back. Pastor Pimp is here to do his divine wisdom into your minds, to your hearts, and to your pockets.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
Now,
Tell them.
first I want to talk about, will a man bring change to church?
Oh, Lord. Tell
And
them.
how much change
Tell them.
will he bring to church? And I'm here to tell you, at the Greater Bethel, Ebenezer shown up on the left side of Jericho Missionary Baptist Church.
Praise the Lord.
We don't play that shit.
We don't play it. We need the money.
Sister Jones, would you
God
come with
needs
the bucket?
money.
Oh, Sister Jones, come on in here. How you doing? Are you still having problems with your backside?
Yes, sir.
We're gonna heal her. Hold your hands up.
Hold them.
Hold them up. Hold them up.
He's gonna stop.
Hold them up. Hold them up. Do you feel healed?
Oh,
Do you feel? Do you feel? Do you? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Lord.
Yes.
Only the Lord can make it like that.
Now, I, Reverend Seymour Cass, is here to tell you
Yes.
that I know you're going through pain.
Pain.
I know that you're suffering.
Suffering.
I know that you're black and you ain't got no job.
Damn.
Yes. And if you're working for a white man, he's on your back like stuffing on a rope when the lobster comes. But I'm here to tell you that the good Lord got some plans.
What does he have planned for them?
He's gonna give you a new car.
He's gonna give you a car.
A car. He's gonna pay your light bill.
Clickety.
And when you get a job, you must come to the Ebenezer, get more money, Baptist Church.
Woo!
10% offering.
And on that note, let us take offering. Once again, we got 2 more offerings coming. Brother Joseph, could you take me to my money-making music?
Please. Praise the Lord. Now, Pastor Penny.
Yes.
There's a lot of things going on in the world today.
Ha!
Donald Trump is president. Ha! Kanye West is a politician. Ha! But one thing you must remember, that the good Lord up above, the one who makes it rain, the one who tells you you must put 10% of your offering in the plate.
I will start off with a donation.
That's right. So, always remember, when something good happens to you,
It's probably because it was me or the Lord.
that's right.
And until next time, brothers, keep Jesus on your mind and a song in your heart. Brother, did you give us a blunt rap? Please excuse him from the church. Take us to commercial. Go count the money. Let's get the fuck up out of here.
Get this money.
Representations of human head. They were great seafarers. These are navigable rivers, but they also had a lot of great canals. So this is possibly what this land of Mu looked like. This would be the origin of human civilization. If that's proved, if Mu was the place where civilization began, well then, you know, the contribution of blacks not only to America but to the world is profound, because this is where it all started. Now this is an artist's conception, but now we have some real photographs, or we shall. I guess I should just run through the very fast. The story is that Mu was prosperous, but of course it was on an area known as the Ring of Fire, and that's in the Pacific. The whole Pacific is surrounded by severe volcanic activity. And one day this activity was stimulated horribly when you have this tremendous onrush of water into the Pacific from the glaciers that are melting, and that started a lot of seismic activity. A lot of volcanism took place on the island of Mu, which was a giant island. And here be a representation of their civilization. They did have turrets, by the way. That appears to be a representation of some of their artwork. Caused a lot of tidal activity. A tsunami is a giant tidal wave that's caused by an earthquake. They're actually sea quakes. And the island of Mu may have suffered something like this. The civilization was threatened by the onrush of lava, volcanic activity, and eventually these great waves came and rushed in over the civilization and buried it underwater, smashed it with these great tsunamis. And this is part of the legend now, the fanciful thing of the Great Flood, which appears in worldwide myths, and covered it completely. Now, in 1995, scuba divers off the coast of Okinawa, just sports divers, started to find some very strange-looking features underwater. Some of these photographs are taken from the Japanese press. It hasn't made much publicity in this country. It's been on CNN, but that's about all. Some of these photographs are taken from a video, others are from the Japanese magazines. And the divers began to find this. This is the first one they found. This is about 100 feet underwater. This is a great plaza. The remains of a stairway, some kind of a walkway. This is off the island of Yonaguni, which is not far from Okinawa. This is part of this great stair. Here's a scuba diver you can see. It's about 100 feet underwater. This is coral incrustation. So they know that it's been underwater a very long time. It's a huge building. It's so big. These buildings are so huge that they're difficult to take in with one shot of the camera, especially because underwater your visibility is limited, of course. Here's another view of another plaza. It's almost like a section of a pie. It's enormously huge. These are 3 divers behind there, so you can kind of see. Now, it's in good shape. These structures are in good shape, which means they probably weren't hit by earthquakes so much as when the water just rose over them. And this looks like the remains of Mu, this triracial or multiracial origin of civilization. It's another shot of divers here. These stairways that are underwater probably were for processions because they're very wide. So we assume that there were dozens and dozens of people in wonderful costumes. They would climb up these stairs to great plazas where they would hold their rituals. This is to give you some idea again of the size. These are just little divers here. The structure is just enormous. And the people that built this were the people of Mu. And this tradition survives over the course of many centuries. This is a Japanese archaeologist now. And when this thing was first found, they thought, well, maybe it's a natural formation. But then they did measurements, and they found that all the angles are at almost perfect 90-degree angles, and nature doesn't work that way. So it's been confirmed as absolutely man-made. It has these huge ramparts. You can just walk on these things like almost for miles. This all looks very, very ceremonial, very, very spiritual, very religious. Our society, you know, if we were wiped out, you come back, everything would seem very mercantile and materialistic, and not much would survive. But here, the emphasis seems to be on the spiritual aspects a lot. A lot of processional ways for showing off clothing and rituals with the gods, ceremonies for the gods. This is another strange flight of steps that terminates like this. Mostly these are stairways. This is a diver again going away. An enormous block. Now this one is the best I could get of this, but this is one of the early pieces that was found last summer. Excuse me, a year ago last summer. It's an enormous arch. It's a gate, and you can see here all the stones are fitted very beautifully. Some of this masonry does not appear at all in Japan. The Japanese never built anything like this. But it does appear in 2 places. It appears in Peru, amongst the Incas, and also amongst some stonework found in North Africa, a place called Lixus. So, again, there's some interesting parallels here. This is an enormous archway, and here you can see this is a diver on the other side swimming through it. Again, it's too big to fit in the picture. This is, again, the same plaza. Hopefully we'll get some better shots when we get over there. We're planning our own photo expedition. This is the remains of a canal or a channel of some kind. And these little steps here are not to walk on, but to facilitate the speed with which the water goes down. So this was all cut on dry land one time. This is for irrigation of some kind. Again, these enormous blocks. Here's the diver here again for size. This is almost like an enormous throne here with an armrest. This is a drawing, of course, from Japanese television. This is one of the structures which is so huge it can't be photographed, at least not yet anyway. You have these enormous blocks of stone, this roadway that goes for like about a quarter of a mile across the bottom of the ocean, and then these steps that go all the way to the top. We presume that when this was dry land, before the water went over the top, there were gods, idols, a temple, something like that. And again, this is dated to about 10,000 years ago. This is another The Japanese went to a lot of trouble to make this enormous model. This model is like about 30 feet long. And this shows one section of it, what it looks like. There's a flight of stairs that goes up, and then there's a long processional way, and there are these two pylons on either side.
The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true Ali started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true Ali started dropping it.
Peace and love, peace and love. What is the Matrix TV? Your host, Jason Elm Street Williams, master of the universe, and you are God. Believe in yourself. You are the supreme being. It's all in your mind. I have a crazy special guest. This is the Prince of Darkness, the one who's been controlling the Matrix supposedly the whole time. Brother Lucifer, come on in, man. Man, you using a restroom, you disrespectful mother. Man. What's good with you, bro?
Just came to see what I can fuck with, you know? That's what I do.
So, man, what's going on with all these wars that you're supposedly creating, man?
Well,
you and God, and what's going on with this?
Well,
you know, if God is so almighty, how is there so much fucked up shit in the world?
Well, that's mostly in people's ignorance. What it is, I explained to God that we can make people do what we want. He wanted to give them a choice. And I was thrown out of heaven for this. I took a few of the guys with me. Oh, some jewelry I got from one of my Satan helpers who's the locksmith. We stole it.
So what's going on with the Crusades, man? A lot of people don't even understand the significance on what religion played a part in these wars.
Put his mic on, because I can barely hear him.
Man, you want to speak into this?
Is that a little better? All right.
All right, man. So what's
Gotta
going
hear
with you?
live. Man, you know what? I came here to sing my buddy Trump. I gotta go see him and see what we can stir up next. What's he doing? I haven't been on Earth in a few days. What's going on with him now?
Oh, man, it's the same old bullshit. You know, everyone's talking about voting again, and I definitely understand why people do vote for local elections. You know, I
love when people think they can vote.
So you're saying that voting's bullshit and everything's a fucking plan?
Everything's bullshit. I'm dead. I'm the devil.
So what is the devil? I don't believe in the devil personally.
Well, who do you think's sitting here with you, buddy?
Well, that would be so-called the devil. Make believe, or is it real?
Well,
are you real? What makes you the devil real?
Well, mostly people like you. You've done a good job working for me, Jason.
Oh,
and,
really?
Oh. I've talked to each of your bitches, and I've talked to your friends. You're right on time, buddy.
So, do you feel that going against God is a bad thing? And is that to other people worshiping the devil?
Well, I like his way. He used to like mine, and there the two shall meet.
So are you saying God and the devil are the same people, you guys?
No, not at all.
So who's in control?
Well, that's up to the individual. He can either be in control of your life, say maybe Lucifer, or he can probably be in control of you, the other guy. So who's in control of you?
No one's in control of me.
You're damn right about that, buddy, because you are one stinking rat idiot.
So, yeah, definitely. But no, we're playing with this right now for the mind's sake, as far as what is the Matrix TV. In all the next episodes, we're going to have more special guests. We're going to have more live callers. We're testing the waters again. And so for us on this show, come and question me, you know.
Give a shout out to all the white people out there. Great job. Keep up the work.
Yeah, you know.
Tell on niggas every day. Yes. Tell on this show. Shut them down.
And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about race, spirituality, and religion. You know, we're going to start getting hotter and hotter on these so-called topics that people do not like to discuss.
Any porno?
What'd you say?
Any porno?
Any porno where we're going to talk about the Vatican and all that with the child sex scandals.
Those guys. I love
You know, can we get any pictures thrown up? You know, we got a few more minutes before we tap out.
Oh, look at that.
You know.
The book that the Boston Globe does not want you to see. Hell, I don't want them to see it either.
So then we have to question, why does the church hide all these scandals? And why is it that clearly throughout history, we see this pedophilia all throughout European culture. You know, whether it's Rome, Greece, with Cupid, having sex with little boys. We have to understand in Rome and Greece, it was okay for grown men to have sex with little boys. You know,
Lucifer doesn't like that.
you know, so these are things that we have to just accept in society and understand what these religions have brought to society. Even though it's kept in secret, everybody knows these things. So we have to talk about these things. We have to talk about race. We have to talk about, we were discussing all these wars over religion. What does that have to do with people's thoughts? And then we do take it to extraterrestrials, where extraterrestrials involved in building all these ancient monuments throughout the world, you know. And then what is the devil and God? A person who...
I'm an alien.
Some people would say that, because some would say Lucifer would be a star, which would be a celestial being. Some people say we're in the dome. Some people say we're in the globe. So there's so many questions that we have to answer now in these days and times, especially with fake news. You know, it's the same bullshit TV shows. Most of the podcasts talk about the same thing. But when we study the pyramids, we clearly see that today, modern day technology can still not evolve to the mathematics and science of what we have today. And so what do you feel about that with modern society compared to ancient civilizations that didn't even believe in God and devil? They had different words for different spirits, like Halloween.
Either way,
Can we get a Halloween?
either I get them or I don't. I don't care what they do. All I want is a fat booty, some souls, and some air conditioning, because it's hot in hell.
No, there you go. So we're going to talk about next week the origins of Halloween and what it really comes to. You know, I see a lot of religious people still celebrating Halloween. I honestly
I
always
love it. It's turned a lot of kids into witches and demons, and they love it. They're wearing the clothes, and yeah, it's good from a business.
Well, it's definitely good for business. And after Halloween comes what? Thanksgiving. These are all rituals, ladies and gentlemen. So
Turn into a demon and kill some Indians.
And I'm a Scorpio.
Oh, I love
Scorpio season, you know what I'm saying? But actually, this is real. You know, the so-called spiritual realm, so-called dimensions are open. And this is why certain governments, they have knowledge. They know when to create these events and holidays to use that energy from the universe, the stars, the moon, and the sun, and all those things, to harness that energy to manifest what we would call the matrix, our society today. And it's a program. Modern day people, the majority, don't know that the government has clearly more advanced knowledge than us, and they use that knowledge to trick us into going to work, paying for food. They lock us up in jail. They create laws that are clearly unjust. And then when it comes to religion, we were talking backstage before you came on, Satan, devil, Lucifer, whatever people want to call you.
Call me Lou.
Yeah, they call you Lou too. You know, Lulu. Those are different clues. But on backstage, we were talking about how evil and good, and you were saying that things are evil if someone did what?
Well, the process of life is measured by each of us and our deeds, correct? So, in that process, if I stop you in that process, what have I done?
Is that evil?
I'd like to think so. It's good for business for me.
I can understand that, but when we get on advanced conversations, I guess that's why people say they need religion in society, because people will act crazy, unfortunately. But I would say in a free society, no one's born believing in God, believing in Jesus, and none of these things. It's an adult who's been brainwashed who forces that on you. If you weren't raised in this society, you wouldn't even know who Jesus or God was.
Well, these people, it's no mystery where they come from. You sharpen the human appetite till it can split atoms with its desire, fiber optically connect them to every eager impulse, dull even the greasiest dollar plane with these gold-plated, collard green fantasies until everyone thinks he's his own god. And where can you go from there? You're a freaking human.
Well, what do you consider a god? A god would be a supreme being. What is a supreme being to you?
Me.
There you go. You know, it's all in your mind. No one's ever seen Jesus or God. Yes, thoughts create things. And it's not to say that these entities don't exist, but it is to say that these so-called entities were resurrected in ancient times. The Bible is supposed to be taking place in ancient times, but we're living in modern day society. We cannot no longer go by these books that are telling us these laws and rules. And once again, is it evil for a lion to kill a hyena? And what's the difference between humans and animals? You know? So that would be someone's state of mind. What evil
well,
and good
animals
is.
are mostly carnal. Humans have a different thought process.
Okay.
They can be more sad. They can be more insecure. Animals don't deal with that. It's eating, shitting, running with the pack. Very simple.
Do you feel that
analogies that usually people use are not correct, because divine knowledge is what can only apply to all people. This is why I love you stupid Americans.
So do you feel that you're more divine than a dolphin? Do you feel that humans have a right to feel that they're more divine than a dolphin, which is a mammal? Aren't humans so-called classified as mammals?
I would think a dolphin is more divine.
Okay, so there you go. Does a dolphin believe in God?
A dolphin is part of God's process without him even knowing it. He's, as what they call blind faith, what they want you to do, follow along with the universe.
So,
dolphin swims, he eats. So he's pretty much doing everything God wants. I hate dolphins.
So what are humans doing then?
Humans have a choice. You can either choose to accept God or reject him.
And so people who reject God are bad, because according to the Bible, God came down and shot down fireballs, destroying the Tower of Babel, where people could communicate with their extraterrestrial ancestors and beings. Coincidentally, when you study and go to the pyramids, it looks like someone shot a missile down. And coincidentally, the Bible talks about killing the firstborn Egyptians. Can we get a Bible, one of the last Bible verses before we start heading back to reality? The other one. There's one more. And take the red pill to wake the truth. You know, where are we living? We're made of atoms, photons, neurons, and electrons. Nobody was born believing in God and the devil, but we can live in societies where there's laws, and I guess we can live in societies where people can worship their gods in peace. But we can never, as far as me, I feel that it's going to be very hard for us to evolve into a greater society if the truth isn't told about the occult, about ancient societies, and linking that up to the Vatican, the church, homelessness, the prisons, and the education system. And once we see what society is, it'll take us to the church, it'll take us to ancient civilizations, and then it'll take us to different dimensions and extraterrestrial beings. And then we'll see we're not alone. And then that's when it gets fun. And that's really how we create contact, is that when enough people know that we're not alone, you'll start thinking it, and eventually we'll manifest it. And hopefully we're prepared for the return, right? So we'll see.
Shit. Well,
so are we just stuck on a fucking globe, just stuck here to live these fucking laws? To obey the system, to work and pay bills? Is that why we're here? And then to worship God and die in hopes that what your mom or grandma said was true, even though not one single person in the history of man or mankind has came back from heaven and been like, yo, no one's came back from hell. Even though people say they've had experiences. You can eat a magic mushroom, you can do ayahuasca, you can drink liquor, and you will have a mind-altering experience. So I guess you are God.
I cannot wait to see you next week.
Definitely tune in, brother. So then we could talk about death, since we're going to be talking about Halloween. Can someone come back from the dead? We were talking about earlier the story of Jesus Christ. We know that back in the day, and people still practice to where you can have a body in a coma state type of being state.
Well, now you're speaking
you
semantics because there's been people that have been on a hospital bed and died and lived.
There you go. So is that a miracle? Is a doctor who brings a person back to life? What's the difference of someone
Your
doing
show
that
is over. This is God.
Now you're assuming the doctor brought him back to life.
But that's technology.
No.
So are robots more powerful than God? Are we living in a video game? Is this an actual
This is
computer?
God. Your show is over.
So you guys tune in next week to What is the Matrix TV. I'm Jason Elm Street Williams. I'm gonna say peace out to brother. It's good seeing you again.
Oh, you'll see me soon. You'll see me soon, guy. You'll see me real soon.
So I'm gonna close it out, man. Go ahead and use the restroom again, man.
Thank you, man. I'm gonna get up out of here.
It's good seeing you. Peace and love, bruh. So yeah, man. Jason Elm Street Williams chilling with my brother Cosmo, the comedian. We're gonna have a good time. Every episode is gonna be fun. It's gonna be greater. If you have any ideas for the TV show, hit us up. If you're a videographer, photographer, once again, if you want to be a special guest, hit us up, live callers. Next week, we're going to be talking about crazier, more hot topics, crazier, more skits, and we're definitely going to be talking about more solutions to the problem. So hopefully today made you think a little, made you laugh a little, and tune in next week so we can kick some higher knowledge and have some fun at the same time and come up with solutions to make the world a better place. And for me, you're living in a hologram, a matrix. Peace and love. What is the Matrix TV? Oh, here this brother goes, man.
Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good, brother. So, man, I appreciate you coming on the show, Cosmo. You gonna be here every week?
Man, of course I am. I'm your partner. What's what we gonna do?
Always, man. So, any last words?
I want to give a shout out to our engineer Murdoch. I want to give a shout out to my boys out in LA. I want to give a shout out to my boy Chris Tucker. I want to give a shout out to Cat Williams and my boy Kevin Hart and George Wallace. Watch your boy.
Peace and love, the master of the universe. You are your own God. It's all in your mind. Life's a dream. We're in a video game, a hologram. A computer? Who knows? See you next week. Peace.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What is the Matrix?
Start me from the top, man. Maybe it's the weed got me. Maybe it's these trees got me. Maybe it's these hoes got me. Maybe it's the stroll that got me. Maybe it's these clothes got me. Maybe it's these laws got me. Maybe it's my dogs got me. Maybe it's these bras got me. Maybe it's this man that got me. Maybe it's my clan that got me. Maybe it's my fam that got me. My plans, my plans. The Matrix.
When I wake up in the morning, I wake up in the morning, putting my read in my Bible papers. Laws, I can see them later. Middle finger up, always screaming, fuck a hater. Chewing on them suckers like an annihilator. No hip hop, this ain't rock and roll. This is real music, pop lock your soul. Jimi Hendrix, James Brown, Godfather, come on, Machiavelli, Christopher Wallace, Huey Newton, Huey P, you know who I be. The spirit. It's what is the Matrix? What is the Matrix? What is the Matrix?